What if the very anxiety you feel isn't a weakness, but the most powerful force pushing you toward your true self? What if instead of being something to overcome, anxiety could be the key to your success? Welcome to this channel, and today we're diving into a topic that hits close to home for many of us: anxiety. But before we get into it, here's a question for you. Is anxiety something you fight against, or is it something you learn from? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Now let's dive into the fascinating perspective of a philosopher who turned the way we view anxiety on its head. Our story begins in 1813 in Copenhagen, Denmark, where a baby boy was born. We'll call him Søren. Little Søren would grow up to be one of the most influential philosophers of the 19th century, a man who dared to question the very nature of existence and the meaning of life. His name was Søren Kierkegaard, now known as the father of existentialism. But his journey to this title wasn't a walk in the park. As a young man, he grappled with intense feelings of anxiety and despair, which he believed stemmed from the meaningless and superficiality of much of the philosophy he studied. It led him to turn away from traditional academic settings and seek out the deeper truths of life through his own personal experiences. He went back to school, eventually studying philosophy and theology at the University of Copenhagen. But here's the twist. He didn't just want to read about philosophy, he wanted to live it. He wanted to understand what it truly meant to exist. He didn't settle for the abstract, detached works of many of his contemporaries. Instead, he began forming a philosophy that was deeply rooted in authentic experience, a radical idea back then and still somewhat controversial today. He introduced a new term into the philosophical arena: angst. Well, not that angst, although that's pretty angsty. This angst was existential anxiety. It wasn't a medical condition or a sign of weakness. For Kierkegaard, anxiety was a natural and unavoidable part of the human condition. Think about it. Life is full of uncertainties. We don't know what's going to happen next. We don't have all the answers. And that's what creates this feeling of unease, this sense that we're navigating life on a tightrope without a safety net. According to Kierkegaard, it's in this space of uncertainty where life gets really interesting. One of Kierkegaard's most famous quotes, "Anxiety is the dizziness of freedom," captures this idea perfectly. When we have the freedom to make our own choices, to chart our own course in life, it can be exhilarating, yes, but also a bit terrifying. Each choice, each step we take, comes with a measure of responsibility. It's a heavy burden to carry at times, but Kierkegaard believed it's a necessary one. It's through facing these choices, through embracing the uncertainty of life, that we grow, that we learn, and that we become more authentically ourselves. You see, according to Kierkegaard, when we're faced with anxiety, we're essentially being confronted by life itself. Life is saying, hey, you have the freedom to do this, to decide on that, to become whoever you want to be. But remember, with that freedom comes responsibility. The responsibility to choose, to act, to be accountable. And it's in this dance between freedom and responsibility where anxiety takes center stage. It's not just about fear. It's about the weight of our choices, the impact they have, and the need to navigate these complexities with courage and authenticity. Kierkegaard believed that the secret to understanding and managing anxiety lay in acknowledging it, embracing it even, rather than trying to escape it. He said, to be able to feel anxiety is a mark of the seriousness with which existence deals. It's like he was saying that anxiety isn't something to be ashamed of or to be avoided. It's something to be respected, to be acknowledged. After all, it's a sign that we're alive, that we care, that we're invested in our choices and our actions. So then what should we do when faced with anxiety? How can we embrace it, as Kierkegaard suggested, in a healthy and constructive way? Well, according to Kierkegaard, the first step is to recognize that anxiety is a natural and inevitable part of the human experience. It's not a weakness, a sign of illness, or something to be feared. It's a companion on our journey through life, a guide that points us towards the deeper questions of existence. Next, he encouraged us to explore our anxiety, to delve into the depths of our feelings and try to understand their roots. Often our anxiety stems from a lack of clarity, a confusion of values, or a fear of the unknown. By exploring these feelings, by bringing them into the light of our awareness, we begin to unravel their complexities and gain a better understanding of ourselves. But what about when anxiety seems to paralyze us? when it feels like it's holding us back from taking action? Well, here's where Kierkegaard's concept of passion comes into play. He believed that passion was the antidote to anxiety, a way to transform our feelings of unease into energy, into a driving force for living a more authentic and meaningful life. Think about it. When we're passionate about something, whether it's love, creativity, personal growth, or a career goal, we're fully engaged in the present moment. We're not worrying about the past or the future. We're not consumed by our fears or doubts. We're simply focused on what we want to create, on the value we want to bring into the world. And in that state of focused intention, anxiety falls away. So how do we cultivate this passion in our lives? How do we turn our anxiety into a catalyst for growth and change? Well, that's a question each of us will have to answer in our own way. For some, it might mean pursuing a creative hobby, a sport, or a form of self-expression. For others, it might mean setting ambitious goals or taking risks in their personal or professional lives. But whatever form it takes, passion is essential to living a life that's not just successful by conventional standards, but also deeply fulfilling and meaningful. It's not about escaping anxiety, but about finding a way to move forward despite it, to use it as fuel rather than a roadblock. Imagine a tightrope walker preparing to cross a high wire. As they approach the wire, they may feel a surge of adrenaline, a pounding heart, a little dizziness, anxiety. But instead of letting that anxiety stop them, they use it, harness it, channel it into their movements, using it to help them balance, to keep them focused. And that's the essence of what Kierkegaard was suggesting. Don't let anxiety hold you back. Embrace it. Use it to propel you forward on your journey. In our fast-paced modern world, anxiety has taken on a new urgency. We're bombarded with choices, information, and demands on our time and attention. The pressure to succeed, to conform to societal norms, or to make the right choices can be overwhelming. We're surrounded by people who seem to have it all together, or so we think, while we're grappling with our own internal struggles. But here's the liberating thought. None of them have it all together. They're just doing their best to navigate life, just like you. And in that shared humanity, in that shared struggle, we find strength, encouragement, and a reminder that we're not alone. Søren Kierkegaard's philosophy offers a unique lens through which to view anxiety, reframing it not as a weakness, but as a catalyst for growth, a signpost on our journey towards authenticity and freedom. As we wrap up our exploration of Kierkegaard's ideas, let's return to the central question that guided our discussion. Is anxiety something you fight against, or is it something you learn from? How has your perspective on anxiety shifted after learning about Kierkegaard's philosophy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Anxiety is a universal human experience, something we all encounter at some point in our lives. And while it may be uncomfortable, even debilitating at times, it doesn't have to define us. It doesn't have to limit us. In fact, as Kierkegaard suggested, it can be a source of strength, a catalyst for growth, and a reminder of our freedom to choose our own path in life. It's a call to action, an invitation to live more authentically, to take responsibility for our choices and to embrace the uncertainties of existence with courage and with an open heart. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by anxiety, take a deep breath, stay grounded in the present moment, and remember you're not just surviving, you're thriving. You're navigating the complexities of life, and that in itself is an act of courage and resilience. Thank you for joining us on this journey of exploring Kierkegaard's philosophy. If you found this video insightful and would like to continue learning from other influential thinkers, don't forget to subscribe. I'll keep bringing you deep dives into the minds that shaped our world and continue to challenge our perspectives. Till next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep asking those big why and how questions. They're the seeds of wisdom and understanding.